So they've opened the vault and they've made some interesting changes using the staff of creation. And what could possibly go wrong? Hi, guys. My name is Maria Park, and this is Approach to Nerd. And in this episode, we are talking RWBY, Volume 8, Episode 12, entitled Creation. I'm going to tell you, though, if you are a Winter fan like me, you love this episode because Winter came out swinging in this ep. So, as I pointed out in my last episode, when we saw Robin and Crow go to the elevator and they saw something in the elevator and they kind of looked shocked, they had a surprised look on their face. I said it was probably Winter and Marrow because she basically saved him from Ironwood blowing him away for being disobedient. And I said that was probably them in the elevator. And it was. And to add on to that, the icing on the cake, she reached out to her sister finally. So she let Weiss know what was going on, and they all concocted this plan. Beautiful plan. Came in 2 phases. So, as you know, Ironwood gave them an hour to surrender Penny so she can open the vault and save Atlas, or he was going to basically drop the payload on Mantle. And so they do deliver Penny. Only, awesomely, it was Emerald using her semblance, and she was the decoy Penny. And I love her line. I love when Winter had handcuffed her, and then Ironwood was like, you're doing the right thing, and she's like, I know, it feels really weird. And I'm like, when she said that line, I already knew it was Emerald. But yeah, so Emerald was able to mask John, Oscar, Nora, and Ren, and they had a flipping epic fight. And it was amazing. It was absolutely, watching Winter fight makes me wish she was young enough to be the 5th member of Team RWBY. Just have her as a 5th member, because having her and Weiss on the same team with, RWBY and Blake and Yang is kind of like an unofficial wet dream of mine. So I really, really love Winter. And I really think that she needs a lot more airtime. And now that she sees how crazy Ironwood actually is, which I don't know why him blowing away the councilman in the hallway outside the med bay didn't give her like an indication that maybe her boss was nuts. But better late than never. So I really, really like that. And I love that Whitley was actually very helpful too. I'm really loving the siblings in this volume. They're actually starting to come together. Like he was saying, he studied this, schematics of the city because they plan on using the staff of creation, and Oscar is telling them, well, yeah, you can do that, but the genie of the staff is a character, and he's gonna basically need to know exactly what you want with blueprints. He can't just create it out of his mind based on what you say. You need to just give it to him. Literally, he's like a 3D printer. So the Whitley volunteered to help. And I thought that was really cool. I love how Weiss was looking at him like, my brother. So I'm really liking the sneeze right now. The siblings are doing it for me. Mom is still really quiet. I don't know if she's hungover or what, but at least she's always there. So there's that. Had like a side note, when they're carrying on their phases for the plan, Winter does go down and see her father. She sees him in jail, and he asks, oh, you're gonna leave me here? And she's like, no, once we're done with this, the plan, basically we'll come back and get you guys and you can be safe. And he's like, well, thank you, Winter. And he's like, don't thank me, it was Weiss's idea. Man, Winter was like, I'll leave his butt there. And I thought that was very cool, which makes sense. She's the oldest, so she's been screwed up the most by him. But yeah, I really, in general, I really liked, again, the sneeze in this. All right, so the plan. They came in 2 phases, as I said. The first one was the epic fight, with Ironwood, which was able to occur with just Ironwood against them because Crow and Robin were making ruckus down, where the payload, trying to get to the payload. And so, of course, Harriet, and the rest of the ops decided to go and try and stop them, especially Harriet. The only negative I have, again, about this episode is they keep giving Harriet lines. Like, I wanted her to trip off the side of, just fall to her death. I can't stand her. But I will say her involvement is gratefully, lovingly short-lived in this episode, because when she goes down to, as she says, confront those two that she's been waiting to do for so long, Meryl tells them to stay and freezes his former ops, partners, and it allows them time to do what they need to do, which is kind of cool. So everybody has a role, and like John and the guys are trying to get a message out to Atlas, about basically the Atlas is going to fall, and especially since once they open the vault, it's gonna fall. So he's trying to get a message out, but then somebody cuts communications. They were like, well, what happened? And then of course, Oscar like, well, what are we gonna do? Basically, they probably should have asked who did it, because more than likely somebody did it, probably Arthur or whatever. But yeah, they are trying to prevent. I don't know what Arthur and Cinder's plan is now that they're working together, and now that they have Jin, thanks to Neo, and they also have the password thanks to Neo. So I don't know what the plan is, but I don't think it's good, and I'll tell you in a second why. Um, it was probably a mistake to do what the girls did, because we're moving on to the next phase. Now, the first part of the second phase plan, or phase 2, was really good, because what they decided to do first was we had Penny open the vault, and when they got to the vault, in vacuum, they released the spirit. And basically, Ambrosius is the genie of the staff of creation. He's like a naked version of Genie, and kind of more built and a little skinnier than the genie and the lamp and Aladdin, and painfully naked, but thankfully not anatomically correct, and very full of himself. So he basically asks what they want, and they first say they want him to basically take all the robot parts of Penny, from Penny, including the virus, and essentially recreate her with her own parts. And he said, well, if I do that, it's just going to leave a soul, because we all know that she has a soul, or aura. And they're like, yeah, we want to keep Penny the way she is. And so he does do it, and essentially robotic Penny dies with the virus, and new Penny, seemingly human Penny, is standing there with the Winter Maiden powers probably still inside of her. But she is now able to feel, like, she hugs Ruby and she hugs everyone. She's like, the hugs always make you feel so warm inside. And Ruby's like, yeah. And it was just, our little adorable baby is real now. Our little Pinocchio girl is a real girl now. I'm so happy. So that is a highlight of this. Now I'm loving Penny's story and how she's going to find herself now that she's human. Cause I know there's got to be a little bit of negativity to that too, because never being human and always wanting something and getting it, there's always a little fallback. So curious to see what that will be. But for the most part, I'm extremely happy that they did that. I thought that was amazing, that was the first thing they asked him to do, not the second. So the next thing that they asked him to do was they wanted to have a way of funneling everybody, all the thousands of refugees from Atlas and Mantle, to basically the vaults, like in Vacuo. They want to have a central location. And so they give Ambrosius the schematics, more than likely that Whitley gave them, and he's able to do it. He makes these portals everywhere. And the reason they wanted to do that is because you can't really get into the Vacuo or Vacuo without knowing how to get in. So it's essentially safe. He does give them a very dire warning. He's like, do not fall. So I'm like, that was really interesting, because I'm like, the whole point of them doing this is because they're trying to escape Atlas falling, and now you're saying do not fall. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's not as safe and secure as they think it is. So that is a problem. But the last shot we see in this episode is Cinder standing there, looking ominous, because again, she has Jin, she's working with Arthur, she's got the password. So I feel like, even though, and Ruby even says, she's like, let's just hope that we didn't forget to do something. I'm like, of course you did. You didn't realize that all of the bad guys can also go through those vaults. So I think it's going to be very interesting, this next episode. But again, the only negative thing I have to say about this episode is that they keep giving Harriet lines. I mean, I just don't understand why. There's no reason to. Let somebody else talk. Let Vine talk. Let somebody just talk predominantly the complete You know, if they have to have Aesop say anything, let somebody else be the representative. Don't let her say anything. Just let her just stare with her angry bitch face in the background until somebody finally kills her off. That's all they really need to do. I know on my my comic thread, somebody said they loved my rants about Harriet, and it kind of makes your life. So I'm hoping I make your life and your grandkids' lives and forward, because my dislike for this character, it pretty much transcends time and probably generations. I do not like Harriet. I think she's a waste of space. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, but really good episode. Again, one of the shorter ones, but still very good. But I really think the Team RWBY probably messed up a little bit, especially where Cinder is involved, and allowing people to access that one point. Central point means everyone can access the central point. I also wonder if the Grimms can go through it, because depending on where it is, it's going to be interesting. You might be setting people up for the slaughter. I don't know. It's just, I've got a lot of theories on what might happen, but I really want to know yours. So please leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you would like to sign up for jury duty, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to know who's next in their ballot, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it, but hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.